All right, you get this thing started in here in a minute, and just wait a second to see if we have any people show up within the next couple minutes. If you have any questions off the bat, go ahead and put them in the chat, and try to answer some anything before we get started. Maybe I'll also do questions at the end as well. If you need to find the chat, you might have to go to the actual YouTube link to be able to chat. All right. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started here. It's just our second webinar that we've done so far, so forgive me if there's any points where it might be off. And then feel free to put questions in the comments, and we'll try to answer them at the end. I'm going to try to get through this in about a half an hour or so. And again, there is one other webinar we did a few weeks ago, which talks more about designing different types of events. So you can check that out. That's geared more towards anyone that isn't a designer, to be able to use templates to create quick renderings. So in this example, we're going to focus on using one template to sort of create a fast design. So, all right. So if you don't know me, my name is Eric Westendorf. I'm the founder of Event Render, and today we're going to be talking about how to use templates to create fast and beautiful renderings. There's just some quick images of past projects. We do a bunch of different types of projects. More or less custom projects, mostly in the corporate event world, but we also do virtual events, and what we're going to be talking about more or less today is creating event renderings for yourself. So our company has created, and we've been working on for the past few years, event software or design software to help our clients create renderings faster and easier for all sorts of different projects and stuff that we potentially can't work on. All right, so the plan today is to kind of go over why this sort of stuff matters and why we're talking about this, and then we'll go through the actual demo of creating a design through a template, and then we'll close up with some Q&A. All right, so why does this matter? So the problem and why we've come to this solution is that there's a problem with event rendering right now, which is that it's a fairly slow process. It's fairly expensive and inefficient, and it kind of hinders the ability to create a lot of designs or bid on a lot of new projects. Kind of cause of this is that the design software that's out there is quite complicated, and it can take a while to figure out and master. And you lose a lot of time and revenue and all that sort of stuff because of all this. And this has been going on for quite a while. So we've kind of come up with a solution that we've been working on for the past few years, which sort of takes the typical design process, which again takes a long time, and makes it into a much more digestible, quick and easy solution. So you're able to create some high quality renderings in a short amount of time, either using templates or we have a lot of other features that you can use. And this is all done through the easy editing features, the templates, and the UI, and all of this lives in the cloud as well. So the effects of all this is that you'll be able to bid on a lot more events, create a lot more designs, and potentially a lot more designs that look better than what you might have previously been able to do. Oh, I didn't realize my video is still on here. Let me take that off. All right, so and yeah, so then you're able to basically capture more revenue through more events that you're bidding on, and you're able to submit pretty high quality and good looking designs that are different from what your typical lower budget designs might be. So these are just some examples of quick templates and designs that we've created in our software, and then some quotes from some customers. And I won't read those, but you can take a look at those on our website. I also won't go over this highlights video. We have a couple highlights videos and stuff like that on our website you can check out if you haven't seen that already. And so now we'll just go into the demo of how to create or how to take a template and make a design or sort of rework a design for your specific project. So this is even Render Now software. I won't go into everything, all of the features and stuff on here. We have other videos that you can check out on YouTube or on our website, eventrender.com/rendernow. And we have some videos to explain all that stuff, as well as tutorials and whatnot. Most of the stuff is pretty straightforward, but today we're just going to focus on the template stuff and what you can do to take a quick template and sort of rebrand it and rework it for your own project. So when you start off here, you have this starter project, which you can work with, and we just have some simple stuff laid out, but you can add and take away as much as you want. So you'll just see some truss and some stage wash lighting, a couple chandeliers just to give some room light, and then a stage and some a few tables. There's also a grid here that you'll see, and each one of these little squares is a foot. So when you go into these different views, you can see the different size of things. If you want to change the color of this to see the scale of everything. So the stage, for instance, is 24 by 16, it looks like. All right, so I'm going to take the grid off. Actually, I'll turn this back to here. All right, so with the templates, what you'll see up here at the top is a bunch of different categories. So we're always adding to this. We are in beta still right now and hoping to release a first version, hopefully in February is what we're looking at. So where you might start with a project is that your clients, the person that you're working with, or your team might have a specific theme or idea in mind for that client. And we have a bunch of different ideas laid out here. So for a fun sort of category, maybe your client wants something more poppy looking. We have a bunch of different templates here that have a lot of color and sort of different style to them that can sort of be categorized as more fun. So you kind of look through these, see what might fit your needs. Go over here to these elegant ones. You can see it's just a bunch of different options. So with any of these templates, you can actually go and select any one of these objects here, models, and then start editing them as you need. So you might be able to rescale everything, or put new graphics on, or change the lighting and all that. So that's kind of what we're going to be looking at today. So over here in this natural theme here, I have a few different options. I'm going to go ahead and start with this one. And so maybe the idea here is that I have a project that I think this sort of scenery, backdrop design, this whole layout would work and look good for the client that I'm working with. But obviously these graphics and coloring might be not what I want to use. This one looks like it's for something of a sort of sustainable development conference or something like that. And maybe I have some other graphics I want to work with. So let's say that I have a bigger venue. I want to make this whole design larger. And I also obviously want to change all of the graphics and lighting to fit the company colors. So first thing I'm going to do is go over to this search for images button. And we have a couple different options to find graphics. One, you could just search through this browser here and find a graphic. Another way is that you could go to a sort of image uploader site like this one, which is imagebb.com. And so I'm on my profile here, and I've uploaded a bunch of different graphics, and I'm just going to go ahead and use one of these graphics. And what I'm going to do now is add that link into this little spot right here. And I'm just going to select the screens that I want to change the graphic to, and I'll just drag them on over there. So now that's changed. So now I can kind of base the colors and lighting and stuff like that off of the colors of this. So maybe the first thing I want to do is, I could actually change all of the LED up and down lights. So I have an option here where it says all up lights color. And so if you see here in this grid view, there's a down light every few feet here, and there's also some up lights on the ground. So if I were to select this and then change the color, I can kind of play around with that to see what looks good. So maybe I want kind of a deep purplish, something like this maybe. But let's say I'm going to change all of them to be a little bit brighter as well. But maybe I want to go ahead and have some of these lights a different color again. So I'll select, just going to hold the shift key and select these lights right here, and I can see there's some lights on the ground. And so I'll just select these ones here and change those to like I think I might change them just back to white. Something like that. Turn these down just a tad. All right, so let's start with that, and then I think finally I want to do a gradient sort of color with these drape lights here. So I'll go ahead and do something like this. Boost that up a little bit. Okay. All right, and finally, I guess these green lights don't really fit now, so let's go ahead and change that to maybe a deep purplish blue. Maybe something like that. All right, and so from there, I want to go ahead and make this a bit larger. So these screens are fairly small. Everything is, fairly small right now. Let's go ahead and we'll go over this left view, and we'll say that let's say that the room is actually this tall. So these chandeliers, if I drag this marquee tool up, are at about 22 feet high. So let's go ahead and make this truss at about 16 feet high. So just a little bit, maybe 4 feet or so up. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and select all of this stuff right here. So this is kind of all of our scenery, and then there's some drape in the background here. And I'm just going to drag it up to about there. I think that was about 16 feet, yeah. And then let's see here. So if I go back to this orbit view, I can see now everything's kind of floating in the air. So what I'm going to do is just drag these drape pieces back down, and then I can just scale them up to kind of fit there. So we have some 16-foot drape panels. They could either be setting on the ground with some pipe, or they could be hanging off the sort of truss there. To get this sort of layering effect, you might want to move them back further, so you might want to use pipe. And then I'll go ahead and scale these guys up to about there. All right, so now I can go ahead and make some bigger screens. So right now I'm just using some sort of LED screens here to make it look like a fairly clean look, but you could use fast fold or something else hanging off this truss here. So I have a line of truss up the front there. So I'm going to go over the screens and video tab, and on LED wall there's these sliders here, and if I select this I can change the size of this. So I'm going to do a 16 by 9 foot screen, so definitely a lot larger. I'll move this over a bit. If I select that and hit this, it will just scale it right away. All right, now I'll go ahead and move this out a bit. And so from here, obviously our screens are kind of flying now. They don't have any truss above them. So maybe if we want to get that supported correctly, if you want to show that, you maybe want to add some truss over there. So that's as easy as selecting this truss up here, copying the object, and then go ahead and move it over there. And then you can just change the size over here. I think a 5-foot piece would do. And now I can go ahead, and if I hold the Alt key, I can just drag it over. And that should do it. If I change my snapping settings down here, all these units are equal an inch, so if I just change it to 1 inch, it will snap correctly to the right size there. I want to be accurate with it. And then I'm just going to move these truss teaser panels over a bit. All right, so now that's looking a little bit better there. I think the next thing I can do is just make sure that the scenery kind of fits overall. So right now, obviously this scenery is a bit short, and then this goes out a bit wider. So let's make the scenery overall sort of wider. So let me actually, I'm going to copy the lighting and the drape there. So select all 3 of those things and then drag that over. And now that's a sort of more uniform look. And I'll do the same. Actually, let's move all these scenery pieces down. So if I select these guys right here, these, if you look up here at the top, it says this template uses Quest pin tiles. So if you know about the Quest pin tiles, or if you look them up, or even if you were to go over to the decor section here and find the pin tiles, they're 18 inches by 18 inches. So one of the easiest ways that I can sort of snap them and copy them is just to type in 18 here, so that'll make an 18-inch jump. So now every time I move it down, it just moves 18 inches. So I'll do one more. And then I'm going to do the same thing with this. And I need to do that with this as well. So do that, move this back. There it goes out a little bit. And then finally, I think I can add one more thing of panels over here. So again, I'm going to copy the lighting on this guy. And for this, I'm just going to kind of, doesn't need to be exact, so I'm just going to move it over here and kind of place it where I like it. And I think that's about even or so with that area. All right, so now you can see if I turn the grid off, you have a fairly uniform looking set. Some of the stuff is offset, which kind of gives it that cool look, and you can kind of adjust as you need. But that's pretty much it for resizing everything, right? So you kind of have your look now. Everything fits pretty much correctly the way you want it to. And from there, if you want to sort of add to the overall design, you can start to kind of maybe work on stuff like the seats and sort of the venue look if you wanted to. So let's say I wanted to add a different floor color to the floor. Maybe this is a hotel with carpet or something. Just go ahead and drag in a different carpet look. And then maybe these chandeliers are going to be a bit brighter, so I can go ahead and move these a bit around as I need, like that. And let's say I just want to really quickly add some more tables too, just to get a better looking rendering. So I'll go ahead and maybe I change this to, and I'll just really quickly add some tables here. Just holding the Alt key and dragging to duplicate these guys. And then I'll select all of them and really quickly do this. And what else do I want to do? Maybe really quickly, I think we have time, I can just go ahead and add in some people, maybe some chairs or something. So let's say I want to add chair like that and some people. Just make sure she's sitting on the chair right. And there we go. All right, so what I can actually do here now is select both of them, and then I can just hold the Alt key again and sort of drag over, and then I can switch out the person. So maybe I want this guy, and let's do, this chair is really small and hard to select, but all right, so let's just do 2 more people, and I'll remove this guy. All right, and just replace these guys real quick. Like so. Just rotate a couple of them so you're not looking off into the distance. And then finally, maybe I want to add, we have some side tables here, so maybe you want to add this, and these are all different models from Court. Again, with the different models, we are constantly adding more to these. So we have Court furniture right now, but definitely adding in different pieces as well. If I wanted to go ahead and select all of these chairs, I could see what a different chair looks like just by replacing them like this. All right, so maybe you got something like that. And then finally, let's say you want to throw in some pizzazz. So go ahead and add a mover or 2 in here. And I'm just going to rotate them in a bit. And maybe change the color just a little bit. Something like that. Sort of deepish purple. Adjust it a bit, and there you go. All right, so once you're ready, you can go ahead and take a sort of final rendering. Maybe you want to sort of do a close-up. Something like this. You can go ahead and actually just click the right mouse button and sort of focus in on different things. So if I were to focus in on this table, click on that. Or maybe I want to focus in on the stage or the screens or something like that. I could do that. All right, so that's pretty much it for reworking a template. So hopefully that was quick and easy enough to kind of understand how you can take a smaller template that has totally different look and colors to it and then rework it completely. I'll switch back over here to this and just kind of talk really quickly through one or two other things. So our process is just a quick analogy of kind of how we like to think about it. So if what we kind of look to have with this software is for you to sort of be the pro golfer type person, where we're then the caddy that helps you along the way. So you're able to actually create the event designs with the help of our sort of expertise and everything. And the software kind of acts as your clubs and your tools basically to get that all done. So just a quick way to try to think about how we look at it. With that, we have a bunch of options to sort of help you along the way. So a bunch of things within our site to help you navigate everything, and we're always here to help you even while you're using the software, because we like to try to get your projects done as soon as possible and to have them be the best that they can be. So we have multiple people working on our platform, as well as our staff, to constantly be upgrading things. So we're constantly working on it. And then we also have processes to help you along the way, again, with onboarding and different things like that. So a quick look at pricing. So we are currently in beta. So, right now you can use the software for free, but eventually the first pricing model we have will be usage-based pricing. So for example, 20 cents per minute for an hour would be something like $12 to be on the platform. So it lives in the cloud. So whenever you log in and you're using it, it's kind of charged that way. So for example, the rendering that I just made maybe took 15 minutes or less. So you're spending possibly less than $10 or so on a rendering, whereas hiring a company like ourselves or another company might be thousands of dollars to do something like that. And so again, the sort of idea is to allow you to create renderings for some of those smaller budget projects where you don't necessarily need a ton of resources. All right, so in review, we just kind of talked about why this all matters and why we're created this solution for you. Went through the demo, and then we'll close up here in a second with the Q&A. The next steps, if you haven't already, go ahead over to eventrender.com/render now, so you can sign up for the beta and start using stuff. You can actually go ahead and start creating renders today if you want. We have all these templates that I just showed you. You can start reworking things and sending the renderings to your clients for any specific projects that you have. And lastly, we'll just go over questions if you guys have anything. I'm sure I've talked to maybe some of you before, so if there's any questions that you've been thinking of or that have just come up, go ahead and feel free to type them in the YouTube chat. And if you don't see the YouTube chat, if you're on our website, you should be able to click on the YouTube title, I believe, which would take you to YouTube to be able to chat, hopefully. So I'll wait here for a little bit to see if anyone has any questions. I know there's a bit of delay, so. You can also go ahead over to eventrender.com and check out any information there, or send us an email or send me an email, eric@eventrender.com. Or set up a meeting. You can do that as well. All right, I'm going to assume that there's no questions at this point. So if you're just tuning in, I don't know, it looks like some people might have just started tuning in. We'll go ahead and post this replay of this webinar on that same website, so you can watch it there. And we'll try to send you a link as well. So yeah, again, let us know if you have any questions. Looks like we did just get one question about the cost if it's a sliding scale, which was posted in a personal chat. So I'll try to answer that here. The cost can scale potentially. We're kind of not there yet, but yes, it is an option. So let's say if your company wanted to use it, for a more robust amount of time. So let's say per month you were using it for a large amount of hours. The scale can definitely come down per price, and we haven't set this into effect yet, but there's also eventually going to be an option where if you're using it a lot, we can offer just a set price, so one price per month. So again, we're trying to help so that if you're using it a lot, it's beneficial for you, so you're not, or if you're not using it a lot, it's also beneficial, so you're not paying a lot, right? So if you're only using it a couple times a month, you don't want to be paying a set price every month for it. You want to be paying it as you use it. So the pricing models will kind of adjust in the future as we see companies needing to have a larger scale or need more usage and that sort of thing. So. All right, I'll go ahead and end there. Thanks for tuning in.